So outside of Century Manor here, I have a really cool story for you. There's tunnels underneath our feet. Used to connect all the original Insane Asylum buildings. And here at Century Manor, the energy that surrounds it is kind of a throwback to how it used to be. So I want to tell you about a security guard. You know, they watch the area, they watch the tunnels underneath. And we had one walking through one of those tunnels when he heard voices from the end of a hall. He just assumed it was trespassers, happened all the time. So he turns the corner and there's a closed door, hears the voices from the other side. Going up to the door, about to open it, decides he's going to try and scare them a little bit. He opens the door really quickly. He's the one that's scared, because it's not trespassers. These two women sitting at a table wearing what looks like old-fashioned nursing outfits. One of the women looks to the other and says, "See, I told you he would find us." Now he's so shocked, he just slams the door, and for a second there, just trying to catch his breath, and when he's caught himself, he opens the door slowly up again, and they're gone. The room is completely empty. Now please note, there is no other exit in that room, only the one he was standing in. Now our investigators, Ian and Trudy, were stuck in a place that scares them more than the ghosts themselves in front of a TV camera. But you know what? They handled it with grace and charm. They tell some experiences from Hamilton's historic custom house and give Allie their opinion around one of the most interesting devices I've ever seen, the REM pod.
Hi, my name is Ian. I'm a paranormal investigator with the Ghost Hunt Paranormal Group here in Hamilton.
I'm Trudy. I'm with Ghost Hunt Paranormal here in Hamilton.
So I was standing back over by the bar and I was looking over here and I saw a woman walk out into the cove beside us and then back out through the hallway just over there. She had long dark hair and she was in all white.
Set up the equipment and see what happens.
Your instinct is like to grab something and try to get them to communicate with you.
And then when something happens, you can take it from there the next step further.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've never seen the spirit. I have felt it. It's very common. You get cold, you get goosebumps, you know, and you can something feel their energy. I've never seen it.
Okay. So whenever you get goosebumps,
it's a very common, but when it's say that happens and you got goosebumps, well, you've got something backs it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of connects to each other.
We sure felt it. There was an investigation we did with Daniel and the Ghost Walks at a building called the Custom House here in Hamilton. About 3 years ago was actually our very first one. And we encountered a spirit of the caretaker of the building from the 1950s. And I've never felt anything like this before. He had a bachelor's apartment upstairs on the top floor in the attic. We went up there, and I guess through the course of the evening, he'd had enough of everybody wandering around the building, and I guess we happened to be the lucky number. We walked in there. We walked straight into a wall of energy, which went completely around us, and I'm sure his energy went straight through us.
It was. I've never felt like that before.
Anything like that.
And it was like he was right here going, "No, you're not coming in." We took 2 steps in, kind of went, "What's that?" and backed off. We couldn't go back. I'm getting goosebumps talking about this. We couldn't go back in that night. You know, the next event, we went back in, well, I'm doing it now, I'm see what you got, but...
So what is this? What does it do?
This is known as a REM pod device. What makes it different from your usual EMF detectors is that this one is designed not to reflect current or electrical energy from lights. It filters it out. And when it's turned on, it generates its own field around the device, and the only way that it'll set off is if another electromagnetic field goes through it, such as spirit energy or your own human energy.
So it could be associated with a person if it goes
So
off?
it could have been something, not necessarily part of the building, something that's attached to you, follows you.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because we have spirits at home that come with us, and not necessarily a part of this building, but they're here. And this is, they know you're here, so they want to talk. This is their maybe one chance to communicate with you, and this is what they're doing. They're letting you know they're here. It could be that lady you saw. Maybe she had a, fondness for you in some way. She only, they don't show themselves unless they want to. She wanted you to see her.
Now, when you run a real ghost show like this, it's really hard to predict when something's going to happen or if anything's going to happen at all. So when something does happen, it's so powerful. Now, we were on break when this happened. The REM pod starts screaming, so I had our camerawoman immediately start filming. And what happens next is so interesting.
Spirit has come into contact with it. You have to be right, that antenna has to be in contact with that, or it goes off. We're not going to do it because we're not close enough.
Can we attempt to communicate with whatever?
We can if it stops. Can you turn that off? Can you stop that light? Please? We'd like to communicate. Okay, well, you sorted it, thank you. Hello? Are you the woman that's been seen here?
It shouldn't be any of the equipment. You've got to be right on
You've got to be right on top of it. That is not going to set it off.
Now that we made the cellar all energetic, it was a perfect moment to bring an amazing local psychic named Kate into the mix.
Hi, I'm Kate, and I am a psychic empath here in Hamilton. Sometimes when I come on these investigations, the spirits present themselves throughout the day, and I've had two following me around at work today. One is something like Mabel, and she looks like she is probably a nurse in the starched whites. And then there is Benny. Benny is a disturbed person who I think passed here many, many years ago. I've already had an experience here while you were filming another part of this show. I was standing looking at the doorway just behind us at the end of the building, and Mabel, this woman in starched white, walked down the stairs and disappeared. As soon as I approached, there were 3 knocks on the door.
Now, Kate had no way of knowing about the woman in white, and it was nice to put a name and history to this energy. Now, next up, we have Zach taking Kate on a ghostly tour.
So what happened in here?
So in here, me and a coworker, we're actually setting this entire cellar up to be a haunted house for students on one of our events. And a coworker was working in here alone. I was working in another cove, and we heard this metallic, like crashing kind of sound on the floor. And we both heard it right away. And she kind of screamed. And when we came in here to look, on the ground here was just a nickel, like as if it fell through the bricks here. Just a nickel flat on the ground.
So when it hit, what did it sound like?
It sounded like metal, but it was a lot louder than the coin hitting the ground.
So what I'm hearing, the sound I'm hearing, is more like long metal tubes, pipes, something like that hitting the ground.
It was pretty loud. It was one bang, so it wasn't like multiples, but it was one huge metallic bang that kind of reverberated, like we heard it clearly.
See, and I don't know exactly what it is, but it's cylindrical, metallic, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's something longer and cylindrical. And I see a woman picking it up, like she's dropped it and she's picking it up, taking it out of here.
Wow. It's crazy because the coworker who was working in here is female, so I don't know if there's something there.
You think whatever is here is drawn to her?
Maybe, I don't know.
I'll have to ask her for some more stories.
Yeah.
What was the woman that has been seen here, what was she wearing?
So I personally haven't seen her, but I know it's from the same cove that the metallic coin sound happened. Everyone tells me the same story of it's a woman in white, like long kind of dress, I guess, and like dark hair.
Is there any chance it could have been like a starchy uniform? White.
I wouldn't know.
So the woman I saw earlier at the staircase, this person Mabel,
Yeah.
looks to me like an old-fashioned nurse.
Well,
It's a very starched white dress. What else have you seen here?
recently, we were finishing up an event here, and down in our other venue, the Arnie, which is visible from the cellar, I saw 2 like orb kind of dark masses just kind of like go across from right to left.
Okay.
And take out the visuals of the beer fridge there.
So it was big enough from where you were standing back there
Yeah,
to
from-
block out the whole fridge.
Exactly, from back there, I could literally see it go right from left, and then maybe a couple minutes later, the exact same thing. I asked everyone in the room if they saw it. They weren't paying attention, but they were terrified.
Has anybody else ever said something like that?
I haven't heard it. This happened recently, too. It was maybe only like 2 or 3 months ago.
So you're still waiting on more stories?
Yes.
What was your feeling when you saw it?
Kind of shocked at first, because I didn't believe I saw it. But what was weird was the black mass that went across. It didn't have a bottom to it, so it kind of just took out the lights of the beer fridge there.
Do you know what shadow people are?
Now, shadow people are an interesting thought, and normally I would be skeptical about it, but having an experience will change a man. And it happened at the Hermitage many years ago. I was leading one of the tours, and afterwards I come around the side, tell everybody it's time to go, and I saw 2 people walking towards me. Now, I just assumed they were part of the group, so I called out to them, and they walked into the forest. Now, I was afraid they would hurt themselves, so I run over. I'm seconds over there, and I shine a light into the woods, and there's no one there. They vanished. Now, after this was done, I realized something. That no matter how dark it gets at the Hermitage, I can always see people's face, I can always see their clothing, but I couldn't see that with these 2 people. It was almost like they were shadows.
Shadow people, depending on who you talk to, are sort of on the negative spectrum of spirit energy. So let's hope that's not what's here.
Okay.
So it's been a very interesting evening, to say the least. It seems like we shed a little bit of light on who the woman in white is. So does that kind of freak you out now you know more about her?
I think it's kind of cool, especially since she said her name was maybe Mabel, and we call her Millicent.
Yeah, I remember you saying the name Millicent. You said it was a caterer?
Yeah, our catering manager just decided to name her that, so.
Now, the catering manager had an experience as well.
Yeah, she was in here before by herself as well, and she just felt like someone was pushing her out, like, right against her back. She could feel the pressure, and there was no one in here.
And the name Millicent just popped
came
into
to
her
her,
head?
yeah.
It's pretty close to Mabel.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite interesting.
It's really neat.
Yeah, now I know Kate led you around to talk a little bit about the shadows and the coin.
Yeah.
What she said about the woman and the metallic disc, did that resonate in any way?
Well, it's kind of creepy, the description of Mabel being like a white nursing kind of uniform, knowing the connection with the Insane Asylum across the street. It's kind of shocking that there may be a connection.
So now that you know more about the ghost, does it make it less scary or scarier to be in the building by yourself at night?
I think less scary, but I want to know more still.
That's what I love to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Just imagine what it would have been like to live in an old-time insane asylum. The fear and the sadness and the torturous cures that they would have employed daily. You can imagine what kind of energy that would leave behind. The Century Manor is close to the public, which makes visiting the Cellar Pub and stepping into that energy all the more sweeter. So we're so happy to have that experience. Thanks for witnessing our story at the Cellar Pub, and I'll see you next time.